Welcome back to News Generation. Now, before the break, we said we will be talking about child abuse. Now, an 11-year-old girl sustained serious wounds after she was forced to sit on boiling water by her grandparents. Officials at the police hospital say the young girl is responding well to treatment. Viewers are warned that some of the visuals may be disturbing.
Reports indicate that the victim always wet her bed anytime she slept. This allegedly angered the grandparents, leading them to abuse the little girl. Her grandmother, Christiana Tokunu, allegedly boiled hot water and forced the victim to sit in it as a punishment at Nungwa Sankara Estate in Accra. After the child had sustained injuries, her grandparents did not send her to the hospital. It is alleged that her grandfather, James Agbamavo, further abused the girl by applying an indelible ink to her bruised buttocks. She was then left in her room for days. Police rescued the girl through a tip-off from a neighbor. Everyone, young and old, is shocked by this terrible act.
When I heard the news, I was very, very sad, because she's just 11 years. And the grandparents who are matured and they must know something about all these things. They've been hearing it on the TV and the radio, but they went on to ball hair. It's not good. It's not good. I was very, very sad when I heard it.
I felt bad. I couldn't believe that the parents would do that to that small boy or a girl, because we all wet bed when we were young, and they shouldn't have done that.
The act has received wide condemnation not only from the public but from child rights activists. Executive Director of Child Rights International, Bright Appiah, says more needs to be done to end child abuse in Ghana. The young girl is said to be responding to treatment after spending nearly a week at the police hospital in Accra. Public Relations Officer of the hospital, Assistant Superintendent Julian Obin, said that the police is on alert to ensure that more children do not suffer from such abuse. The victim's grandparents are being questioned by the police and will face the court soon.
Wow, so we've just seen the story, and it's sometimes very hard to believe that things like this happen in this country. So we want to do a little bit of education, and joining me here in the studio today is DSP Mr. Elvis Sadongo. He is the head of social services at the police hospital and coordinator for the Network Against Child Abuse. Welcome to News Generation.
Thank you.
Now, let's just start off with, what is child abuse?
Well, the Children's Act of Ghana defines child abuse as any infraction of the child's rights that will result in physical or mental harm to that child. So if you contravene any law that protects children and it results in harm or injury, whether physical or mental, to the child, then it is child abuse.
Okay. So now, what is the situation of child abuse like in Ghana?
Well, we would say that child abuse is generally a huge problem. And year on year, we see increases in the numbers. In fact, DOVSU reports that neglect, for instance, tops the list of the forms of child abuse that we have. That also, the same DOVSU also reports that, for instance, sexual abuse cases have reduced over the years, especially the last year's report. And so overall, because of the existence of the structures and the education that is going, some forms of the offenses against children are reducing and others are on the increase. Yeah.
So what about a case like this one with this 11-year-old who got this thing done to her by her grandparents? How often do you see such cases?
We have had similar cases at the police hospital reported to us. Some have even resulted in death, but they are not common occurrences. We have other forms of abuse. that result in some form of injury to the children, but not to this magnitude. This is quite cruel.
So what sort of support is she then receiving currently?
Well, the support is coming from various agencies. The support, the in-hospital support, is provided by the police hospital, where the doctors are working around the clock. If you saw the injury from day one and you saw her again yesterday, you will see that there is a remarkable improvement. So doctors are doing that. The other forms of support that she might need will just be the ability of the caregivers to be able to buy the needed drugs and so on. Even then, other agencies, I heard the director of the Department of Social Welfare saying they are prepared to pick up the bills. Child Rights International yesterday also came on board. They are also trying to coordinate the effort of getting the parents to do some work so that future care of the child wouldn't be directly under the care of her biological mother.
Finally, what should a child do if they are in a situation where they are being abused, and how can they get help?
You see, first of all, you should understand that there is a power play going on between parents and children, where the parents don't actually know what their responsibilities are. It appears they are at war with their children because they don't understand the behavior and attitude of children. The fact remains that most people don't learn to become parents. You know, I believe that you yourself will just get up one day and go and wed, and the next time you are pregnant and you have a child, and so you don't know anything about parenting, and that is what everybody gets into, and it's a huge problem. We all pass that way, but then if you are determined to learn to become a good parent, everything is available for you to be able to learn, and that is what we are not doing. And we don't seek help. We don't go to the agencies and ask, oh, my child is probably behaving this way. I don't understand. Is there any way, you can help me deal with the situation? We want to go traditional, beat the child, and then sometimes go into extremes like we have seen, But the law actually prohibits that. Cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment to children is prohibited by law. The Constitution does, and the Children's Act also does.
Okay, but if I'm a child and I'm being abused, or if I know of my friend who is going through such a situation, what can I do?
The law provides for that child to be able to report directly, or a next friend. And when the law says a next friend, it's someone who assists a child, to seek legal help. That person is called next friend. So, and it can be an adult, it can be a colleague, so it's the responsibility of everyone to look after a child, so the children themselves, like I was saying earlier on, they feel helpless, especially when it happens between they and their parents. Where else would they run to? Because this is where you are. They feed you, they clothe you, and sometimes they don't even give you the opportunity to go out and talk to anybody. In the case of the 11-year-old, we were lucky somebody tipped us off. Otherwise they did the thing and then kept the child locked up in the room. And then God knows what would have happened. So it's just like in every other case. If the person is unable to come out on his or her own to report, then we would then rely on someone else to assist.
Thank you very much. So if you know somebody who is going through any form of abuse, we hope you know what to do. If a friend is going through some issues, please inform your guardians or parents to help you get assistance. DSP Mr. Sadongo has just left the studio. We wish him and his team all the best in fighting this child abuse issue. Now let's move on to a little bit of science and technology. Have you ever thought about making your own robot to wash your school uniforms? Last year, Ghanaian students learned how to make robots and came up with a friendly one called Portadroid. Let's have a look.
Adjoa, Della, Ebenezer, and 3 other young students are attending World's Robotic Olympiad in Malaysia with other young people from around the world. It is a science and technology event which will help to develop their creative and problem-solving skills through a challenging competition. Over 1,000 young people and their instructors from 38 countries will be assembling robots. Ebenezer is a student of St. Augustine's College and is the engineer in his team.
We were chosen based on our performance, that of 1, and 2, on the amount of projects, like the projects we were able to complete after the competition.
Adjoa is the leader of the Ghanaian team to Malaysia. She and her team built this robot, which she called SpotterDroid.
These are HoloCubes built from the NXT kit, and this is also our robot. It's called PotterDroid. It was built beautifully by our lead builders, Gloria, Abedu, and Ebenezer. It was also programmed by Della, Emanuela, and Bill Tando. They put codes together to make this robot work. We built this robot and programmed it to pick up these HoloCubes, turn to the left, drop them one by one, and as it drops them, it mentions the name of the colors. So this is how it works.
In Agbogloshi, I also came across a promising robotic engineer. 14-year-old Idris showed great skills as he took apart and fixed broken bicycles. I thought he could benefit from the RISE workshop, and I asked him about school. Dr. Yao Okreku Yurenchi is the director of the RISE project in Ghana.
RISE stands for Robotics Inspired Science Education. So what GRAPH, which is the Ghana Robotics Academy Foundation, is trying to do is inspire kids across the ages, let's say 10 all the way till about 18, 19, to use the motivational effects of robotics to help them choose careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Amazing! The RISE project is supported by the United States Embassy and is helping to improve the understanding of science in schools. What about you? What have you invented or thought of inventing? Tell us about it and we may feature it on the show. We'll be looking at what you guys think about the DIU not being part of the Black Star squad for AFCON 2013 on WhatsApp.